Good evening and welcome to the National Sim Racing Gen 4 Cup Series. We're here tonight for a 200 lap tilt here for the Virginia 500 at the South Boston Speedway. Practice has just wrapped up here and we're just about to go into qualifying with about 15 cars registered for tonight's event around this 0.4 mile long short oval. We're going to have some Hell in a Cell style racing, and we're going to have lots of fun. Qualifying getting just underway right now. And waiting for the first cars to get on track. First car on track right now is car number 31 of James Young. As you see, whoa, big loose moment from car number 31. And he crosses the start-finish line. He's going to have to get a new lap going. See if anyone else is setting laps right now. Series sponsor John Bittler in car number 88 getting his first lap underway. .5 flat for John Bittler, as he's going to try to set a better time on his flying lap. Exited a little high, might have got on the gas just a little bit early. Across the stripe, it's going to be a 15.5 flat for John Bittler. That's good enough for third provisionally. Currently on pole, it's the car number 29, Ray Partridge. This is, scheme isn't loading for me. But Ray Partridge on pole currently with a 15.329. That gets beat by the number 8 of Mark Sikoshi, who just hopped to the top of the board with a 15.143. Colin English in car number 45 setting his first qualifying laps. Well, let's go to car number 59, fastest in practice, Justin Cope. He was the fastest in practice and was bad fast at the last flat short track that we went to at IRP. Now, South Boston has a little bit of banking in the corners, as he says at 15.188, top of the board on his first lap. We're going to try to see if he can set anything better for lap number 2. We did see him slide up on corner exit just a little bit across the stripe. It's going to be a 15.3 for Justin Cope. So not going to be on pole, but second is a very good time for car number 59. Last car to set a qualifying lap is Brian Wiggins. We see him in the car just pulling out of pit lane, getting the last little things tweaked for his qualifying setup in car number 3. Starting his first lap with just under 2 minutes left in qualifying. Keeping it nice and tidy out of the corners in 1 and 2. A big dive into turn 3 and keeping it nice and low. This is going to be a good lap for Wiggins. Across the stripe, 15.284. That's third overall right now. If he can improve on it by about a tenth and a half, he can get pole. Coming across the stripe, it's going to be 15.231 for car number 3. Good enough for third place on the starting grid. We have Jason Crumley, All-Star winner a couple weeks ago, just pulling out of pit lane. He might be able to get a lap or two in before qualifying is over with. You might be able to get one lap in with only about 45 seconds left. Depends on how quickly he gets out of pit road. Yeah, he's going to have 1 lap to get this done. Oh, and not too sure what happened right there, but that's gonna make sure he doesn't have enough time to do another qualifying lap. So that's gonna wrap up qualifying here, and it's gonna be Mark Takoshi getting the pole position in car number 8. About to move into the warm-up period right now, so drivers can make last-minute changes on their cars. But let's use this time to give a quick shout out to our series sponsor, IRD Racing out of Florida. IRD Racing is a real-world part manufacturer and supplier for all disciplines of real-world racing, whether it be drag racing, circle track racing, or even road racing. IRD Racing is a very well-respected name, especially in the carburetor and fuel injection industries, and their customer service and products are unparalleled with anything else. So if you are looking forward to take your real-world racing program to the next level, especially with your carburetor and your fuel injection system, don't be afraid to give the good folks at IRD Racing a call to take your racing program to the next level. There's a reason why people call IRD Racing the king of carburetors. Very happy to have them on board and very thankful to them to allow this broadcast to happen. Their support is very necessary to make broadcasts like this happen, so you can view the Daytona 500, or not the Daytona 500, the Virginia 500 here on Fireball Talks NASCAR. About 3 minutes left in warm-ups right now. You see Justin Cope getting some race practice with Tony Kurgel on car number 13. John Bittler right behind them as well. Justin Cope, one of the fastest cars that I've seen in practice. That car is very hooked up to the bottom, and here at South Boston, you want to be exiting low because those walls on exit really creep up on you quite quickly. But this race will definitely be on the shorter end time-wise because the laps here are so quick. I would say the average lap time is going to hover around the 15.8 to 16 second bracket once tire wear is concerned. I think we'll only have to do 1 pit stop for fuel, since I think the fuel goes to about 150 if I'm not mistaken. But the real question is how are those tires going to hold up here at South Boston? The right rear is going to be something that you want to be paying very close attention to. Very easy to loop the car on exit here as well, and if you get on the gas just a little bit too hard out of the corners, it will come around on you and you'll just be shredding that right rear. Don't want to be doing that at all, especially if we get a really long run going. About 90 seconds left in warm-ups right now. Currently looking at Elijah Grant getting some practice in, and you can see just how sideways he gets. Big crash on the front straightaway in warm-ups. The camera panned away to look at Chris Norris, but very easy to have a small wreck become a huge one here at South Boston just because of the very enclosed nature of this track. There's no runoff, there's nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. So I would not be surprised if we see some very banged up cars by the end of this. And since a lot of the racing here, you want to be hugging that bottom, would not be surprised if we see the chrome horn used a couple times throughout this race, throughout the field, just to move someone out of the way and get the position. But top of the board right now in warm-ups is going to be Justin Cope, who's fastest in practice. So this tracks, but he's not going to be starting on pole. That award goes to Mark Sikoshi, currently 9th in warm-ups right now. So going to be interesting to see how Justin Cope can get around that 8 car to take the lead if possible. But 10 seconds left. We're about to go to the race session, and when that happens, we can give you the starting lineup for the Virginia 500 here at South Boston Speedway. Sorry, actually it's 250 laps, I apologize. So an extra 50 laps added, but let's get your starting lineup up on the screen in just a moment. Starting on pole, it's Mark Sikoshi in car number 8, and on his outside is car number 59, Justin Cope, fastest in practice and in warm-ups. He's going to be a driver to look out for, as he's going to try to get around car number 8 on the inside. Starting on the inside of row number 3 is Brian Wiggins. He's been on fire recently, looking to keep the good momentum rolling in car number 3. Starting in position number 3, and on his outside is going to be car number 29, Ray Partridge. Won at Talladega, looking to follow it up with another win to keep a strong season going. Last car in the top 5 is car number 5, Adam DeFore. Strong season for him so far, but looking to improve. On his outside is going to be car number 24 of Dylan Lansdell. Had a great run last week at Charlotte before speeding penalties derailed his race. Looking to bounce back from that setback. Adam Gracie said that this may be the best chance for him to get his first National Sim Racing Gen 4 Cup Series win. Going to be looking forward to see what he can do from position number 7 on the inside of row number 4. And on his outside is going to be series sponsor John Bittler in car number 88 in position number 8. Right behind them is going to be number 26 of Robert Wiggins. And on his outside is going to be Colton English rounding out your top 10. First car outside the top 10 is going to be defending series champion Tony Kergel in car number 13. Said that he didn't have a great setup, so he's going to try to carve his way through the field. From the 11th position on his outside is going to be car number 56, the Sergeant, Chris Norris. Starting in 13th is Elijah Grant in car number 4, and on his outside is going to be James Young in car number 31, rounding out row number 7. And rounding out your field of 16 cars is going to be Dawson Kent in car 27, and Jason Crumley, who won a couple weeks ago in the All-Star race at Atlanta in car 28, rounding out your field. Mark Sikoshi in that AC Delco number 8 going to lead this field of 16 cars to the green flag, to 250 laps of racing here. Green flag is out. Everyone's stacking up just a little bit as they get a little bit caught off guard from the really short start zones here at South Boston. Side-by-side racing for the lead. Cope going to take a lunge on the outside to try and get that 59 around the 8 car. Still side-by-side with car number 8. Race control saying that he has that car 59 has a black flag potentially for passing before the start finish line. So Justin Cope, an early setback. He's going to have to do a drive through pit lane as Mark Sikoshi is going to take the lead. You see Brian Wiggins right behind him in 3rd. Yeah, nice little trackside camera for a second. But Brian Wiggins looking to catch up to the back end of that number 8 car. But he's got Adam DeFore all over his back bumper. Justin Cope is out of pit lane. He didn't even actually lose a lap. So not the end of the world for car number 59, but the caution is out. And it looks like it's James Young around in turns 1 and 2. So let's get a replay going to see what happened to car number 31. So looking at James Young entering turns 1 and 2. Got Dawson Kent right behind him in the 27. Dawson Kent sends it in just a little bit too deep. Gets into the back bumper of James Young. And that makes him back into the outside wall. Minimal damage to car number 31 except on the rear. But very lucky that that was towards the back end. Didn't have anyone else in his vicinity. But I'm sure that Mr. Young not too happy with car number 27 for being sent around only about 5 laps into this race. That caution is exactly what Justin Cope wanted, because that's allowed him to catch up to the back of the field, and it's all bunched up as well. So he's going to have to slowly and methodically work his way through the field. He's got a lot of time to work with, 250 laps worth. And judging by my race calculator, it's going to take about an hour to get through this if this goes flag to flag. So we have a lot of short track racing here to get through. As pace car lights are off, so we will be going green flag racing for the first restart. This time by pace car going to pull into pit lane. Single file restart here at South Boston. Mark Sakoshi going to lead the field to the green flag. Green flag is out. Good restart for both Sakoshi and Wiggins. But we're also getting a message from race control that Mark Sakoshi might have a black flag. Not sure what for. It might be for passing the pace car potentially. That's the only thing I could think of. But we have word from race control that car number 8 is being displayed the black flag. Brian Wiggins going to take the lead from car number 8, or from car number 8, and gonna put Sakoshi between him and Adam DeFore. Further in the back, Robert Wiggins gonna make a charge on the inside of Adam Grace. You can see Sakoshi just got into pit lane. So trouble for both of our leaders early on with race control. Both Cope and Sakoshi getting the black flag shown for them. Dawson Kent getting past Elijah Grant. Grant not having a strong start to his South Boston races. He's about to get passed by Justin Cope in car number 59 and James Young. So Elijah Grant going backwards and nose, hitting the wall like that is not going to help his case out. Looking right at the edge of the top 5. Robert Wiggins in 5th, under fire from John Bittler as he's trying to catch the back end of Adam Gracie in car number 17. Good start to this race from Robert Wiggins, showing a lot of pace early on, and we're going to be very interested in seeing whether this pace holds on. Justin Cope starting to slice his way through the field. He's gone past James Young and Chris Norris, but he's got a little bit of time to make up on Dawson Kent before he gets back into the top 10 after receiving that early penalty on the first lap. John Bittler all over the back end of Robert Wiggins for 5th. Wiggins slid up the track a little bit. Bittler's going to try to make the move, and contact between cars 88 and 26.
Stop the count.
I think Wiggins tried to late apex the corner and just was not expecting Bittler to be there. Short track racing happening here at South Boston. Let's get a replay going to see what happened between these two cars, and maybe we can get a super slow-mo going on to see how this unfolded. So currently looking at John Bittler right now. They're both entering turn 3. You can see Bittler's to the inside of Wiggins. Bittler's got the car slowed down. Wiggins just tried to straighten out the corner and did not know Bittler was on his inside. Nothing Bittler could do. He had the inside of Wiggins with a good move to the inside, and Wiggins just came across his nose. So John Bittler probably not too happy that he's going to have to buff that out after the race. But very lucky that he did not get any damage from that. Another interesting thing is that Mark Sikoshi, who got the black flag on the restart, didn't go a lap down either. So a good penalty serve from Mark Sikoshi allows him to stay on the lead lap. Brian Wiggins leading this field to the restart on lap number 22. He's got Adam DeFore crawling up his back end, and then Ray Partridge, car number 29, in third, hungry to make up some spots. Pace car is going to pull into pit lane, and it's going to be Brian Wiggins leading the field to the restart. Green flag is out for Brian Wiggins. Good start for him and DeFore. You see Gracie looking to the outside of Partridge. Going to try to get the run going on car number 29. Not going to happen, but DeFore taking a pretty wide entry as Gracie's going to try to make the outside work on Ray Partridge. 17 car has a lot of speed up in that second lane, but he gets cleared by Partridge for the time being. Not going to stop him from peeking outside again, but doesn't have the real estate to get to the outside of Partridge, but now he does towards his door on exit, but caution is out, and it's James Young around once again. So let's get a replay going to see what happened to car number 31, and that car is crap, and I think that's going to be the end of James Young's race because that car is not pointed straight at all. So currently looking at James Young coming out of turn 4, just gives it a little bit too much gas, and oh, that's a hard hit to that all concrete inside wall. Destroyed the left front suspension. And that car is not pointed straight at all as you see him enter pit lane. So early end to James Young's race, as I don't think that he's going to be recovering from that damage. Robert Williams got a black flag at the beginning of the restart last time by, so he had to serve a penalty, but he's going to go, he went one lap down during it, and I think he's going to get the lucky dog this time by. So he's going to get his lap back, I believe. Yes, Robert Wiggins going to get his lap back in car number 26. But Brian Wiggins still leading this field as he's going to take it to the outside wall. Coming to lap number 30. I believe this is restart number 3 already. So pace car just about to pull into pit lane, and it's up to Brian Wiggins to lead the field back to the green flag with Adam DeFore and Ray Partridge right behind him. Green flag is out. Brian Wiggins with a good start. Adam DeFore caught sleeping just a little bit, but able to hold on to his position in car number 5. Adam Gracie's still hungry to look to the outside of Ray Partridge. That number 17 has a lot of speed on entry, just needs to make it work on exit, and he's gone to the outside of Partridge for the 3rd position, about dead even down the back straightaway here. Into 3 and 4, Partridge trying not to get loose on entry, as he got loose on exit right there. Able to keep it off of that 17 car, but Gracie is not giving him any rest, making sure that Partridge is sweating during this. Mark Sikoshi all the way in the back, trying to recover from the penalty, getting stuck behind Chris Norris. not able to find a way around that 56 car until right about now. So he's going to get around car 56, but that's valuable lost time. So we go back to Dylan Lansdell, currently in 6th, trying to hold off Tony Kurgel in car 13 as Justin Cope jumps to his inside, using a little bit of that apron to get past the 13 car. So Cope using every bit of the track he can get to his advantage, and that 59 car is very, very quick. Let's see what time he sets when he crosses the stripe here. A 15.5. That's just about on pace with our leader, Robert Wiggins. And car number 3 opened up the gap to about a 7/10 of a second lead over Adam DeFore.
Caution, yellow flag is out.
I think Dylan Lansdell around and involved in an accident, which brings out another caution here at South Boston. So let's get a replay to see what happened. He was battling with Justin Cope, so we'll have to see if any contact was made between the two. Looking at the 24 of Dylan Lansdell coming out of turn number 4. You can see the 59 at the bottom of the shot. No contact made between cars 24 and 59. Dylan Lansdell just a little too happy on the throttle and noses it into that inside wall. If I was him, I'd probably try to get some of that front end damage repaired so it isn't scraping and dragging around. That front bumper is not very well attached to that number 24 car. See, Robert Wiggins finally gets the lucky dog. But James Young still in pit lane. Just went 13 laps down. So I'd be surprised if he brings that car back out on track. Because at this rate, there's no feasible way he's going to get back onto the lead lap. Unless we have just caution after caution after caution. Which with these races, there typically tends to be a really long green flag run towards the middle once some natural parity is set. These cars have a lot of power coming out of these corners, so it's very easy to loop them. Well, 41 laps in the book here, almost a fifth of the way through this race. Brian Wiggins still leading the way here, with Adam DeFore and Ray Partridge right behind him. Base car is in, and it's going to be Wiggins leading the field to the green flag. Green flag is out. Good start for Wiggins. DeFore tried to get a good start and just got pulled away from by Wiggins. Justin Cope and John Bittler doing battle for the 5th spot. Bittler dives to the inside of Cope. Cope going to try to fight back on the outside. Not going to be able to get there. So Bittler holding on to the 5th spot for right now. But Cope is hungry for that spot. He's going to try the crossover coming into turn 3. From top to bottom goes Justin Cope, and that puts John Bittler on the outside. And Cope in the preferred lane, using a little bit of that apron to get that car turned. But Bittler giving Cope a heck of a run for his money. As Bittler overdrove the corner a little bit, had to get out of it on exit, and that's going to allow Cope to squeak on by. So Justin Cope back inside the top 5 here at South Boston. Speaking of cars that are trying to get their way back to the field, Mark Sakoshi just getting around Dawson Kent for the 9th spot. Got about 6/10 to make up on Jason Crumley in front, who for a second was looking to make a move on Tony Kurgel. Kurgel not having the usual speed of that 13 car. Maybe it was set up for later in this race, like at Charlotte. But Crumley takes a peek to the 13 cars inside. Side by side for 7th right now between Kurgel and Crumley. Kurgel gets a great drive out of the corner, and this brings Mark Sakoshi into the mix. He wants to get around both of these guys as soon as possible. But you want to do it as cleanly as possible too, so you don't tear up the sheet metal on that car. Kurgel got a little bit sideways on entry, slowed up Crumley just enough. But lots of battling in the back half of the field here as the fast cars try to work their way back to the front. Mark Sakoshi trying to get the run on Crumley whenever he can, but Crumley holding strong on that inside and posing a danger to Tony Kurgel, because if Kurgel slips up just a little bit, he's going to poke to his inside. Speaking of poking to the inside, here comes Justin Cope to the inside of Adam Gracie. Gracie on the outside. We've seen him run that outside lane a lot in that number 17 car, but Cope is absolutely flying on the inside line here. Gracie with a great drive on exit. Cope getting a little bit loose. Gracie might be able to hold off the 59 on exit. Yes, he's going to make it happen. Great defense from Adam Gracie to hold off Cope, but Cope's going to try one more time in 1 and 2. Not going to be able to make it happen. So a great battle going on for the 4th spot between Adam Gracie and Justin Cope. You see Gracie running about the 2nd line in that 17 car, really giving Cope a lot of room to work with. That 17 car gets such a great drive on corner exit that any concessions made on entry is pretty much made up just by the speed on exit. As they're coming up on the lapped car of Elijah Grant, car number 4. They got around him without too much of a fuss. Robert Wiggins battling with Colton English for the 11th spot back here. Wiggins looks like he's taking a little bit easier than he was earlier on, trying to keep that car pointed and take care of the tires. He's going to get past Colton English for that spot. Justin Cope now looking to make a move on Gracie. Gracie way sideways as they navigate around Chris Norris. And oh, Justin Cope gets into the back of Gracie. Ooh, a little bit of contact with Bittler. I have to see what happened to car number 59, because it looks like he got on the brakes just a little bit too hard in the back end. Try to swap ends on him. So let's go to standby real quick to see if we can get a replay on that real quick. So looking at Justin Cope in car number 59 right now, looks to the inside of Gracie. This is a pretty deep lunge, and I think he just had to back out of it, and he got on the brakes just a little bit too hard, trying not to run to the back of Gracie, and that's what sent him around. Slight contact with John Bittler, but I don't think that really hurt him all too much. As we saw Justin Cope jump into pit lane. Bunch of cars dropping into pit lane. Lansdale, English, Norris, Wiggins, Kent, Cope, Kurgel, Crumley, Grant, and Bittler all jumping into pit lane. So that the entire back half of the field hopping into pit lane, while the front half stays out. We haven't had a lot of green flag laps in succession to cause excess tire heat, which is what I think that these guys up front are thinking of. That the green flag runs haven't been long enough for wear to be too big of a factor. As Robert Wiggins gets a black flag, maybe for too fast exiting, I believe. It's unfortunate for car number 26. It's the second black flag today. Another setback from a very promising early start to car number 26's race. But Brian Wiggins going to lead this field to another restart. Pace car is in. Adam DeFore all over the back end of car number 3. Green flag is out. DeFore caught sleeping a little bit on that restart. Wiggins pulling out to about a half a second lead already. That's Dylan Lansdell in car number 24, 1 lap down, right behind Ray Partridge. So that's not for position, but Lansdell does have fresher tires, if I'm not mistaken. So definitely gonna be interesting to see the difference in speed between worn and fresh tires. Lansdell staying all over the back end of Partridge. So keep in step with that 29 car, and it might be proof that on older tires, you can really hold your own against people on new tires. As DeFore going way up the track, battling with Partridge. He's going to get a good drive on exit, but Partridge is going to get right past him, and so is Lansdell. So Partridge going to go back to going to go up to the second spot, but the caution is out. And it looks like it's Jason Crumley in car number 28 around. Let's see what brought out this caution. So coming out of turn, I believe this is turn 2. Crumley just gives it a little bit too much gas, and that sends the car around. I apologize. That's actually on the exit of turn 4, if I'm not mistaken. But yep, Crumley goes around, and the lights on the track just came on here. And Marsakoshi in pit lane, getting tires on car number 8. Coming to lap number 70 here. "70 laps in the book." Got 2 more trips around the sun until we go green flag racing once again. Your top 5 at the moment is Brian Wiggins, Ray Partridge, Adam DeFore, Adam Gracie, and John Bittler. Tell you what, Bittler's having a good run so far. He's really been keeping step with Kirchhoff, and he's going to be under fire probably from Cope soon. But I think that with a little bit of luck, that number 88 car can possibly finesse a top 5 spot here at South Boston, which is no easy feat. But pace car battle pole in, and once again, Brian Wiggins going to lead this field to another restart, but he's got Ray Partridge right behind him. Green flag is out. Great start for Wiggins. Ray Partridge may have been caught in a higher gear, because he did not get that well off the line, but he gets the car going. And oh, Dylan Lansdell with a black flag. Don't know what for. It might have been passing before the start-finish line, but that's not good for car number 24. He's going to have to find a way into pit lane. Side-by-side racing for 4th between John Bittler and Adam Gracie. Gracie up top, Bittler to the bottom. Bittler's going to try to get the move made on Gracie coming out of 4. Gracie gets a little bit loose. Still side-by-side with the 8 car, and now Justin Cope going to try to send Adam Gracie back just a little bit further. As we saw Bittler get a little bit sideways on entry, keeping that car straight, and Gracie gets relegated to the 6th position as Justin Cope moves him out of the way. But oh, Bittler's around. Bittler's in the wall. Oh, we were just talking so well about him, and he noses it into the outside wall. Saw the very end of that. Let's get a replay going to see what happened to car number 88. But man, he was having a great run, and it all went up into smoke. Coming into turn 1, it looks like he just carried just a smidge too much speed, and the back end started to come around. He's trying to correct it, and then the car just hooks. It grips up and snap oversteers straight into the outside wall, and that's all concrete. That that's gonna really hurt the performance of that 88 car. I would not be surprised if multiple suspension pieces are bent on that 88 car. But the good thing is that we're having so many cautions that he might be able to just get some of the damage repaired and then get the lucky dog each time. So get it done in about 30-second intervals, but it depends on how much damage he has to get repaired. All right, base car lights are off, going green. Next time by on lap number 80. Once again, Brian Wiggins leading the field to the restart. Partridge right behind him, looking to get a better start than last time. Pace car is in. Green flag is out. Better start for Partridge this time. As we can see Justin Cope at the top of the shot, going to the outside of Adam DeFore on the restart. DeFore on the inside. Cope gonna try to dive it in on the outside to try to get it to work. Real close racing down the front stretch as Cope takes the spot from DeFore. He's not clear of that 5 car yet, but DeFore's getting held up by Partridge, who's trying to get his feet under him in a second. And now Cope going to the outside of Partridge. Has the nose ahead on entry, but Partridge going to try to fight back on that bottom line. Cope going to get clear of both those cars on the outside. Great moves from Justin Cope to get around those two drivers. But he's also on about 60 lap fresher tires compared to Partridge, DeFore, and Wiggins. But caution is out once again. Don't know who it is for. Don't know exactly who it is for. Let's get a replay to see what caused that to come out. So James Young back on track, 43 laps down, but Elijah Grant really sideways in front. James Young tracking out, gets into that 4 car, and that sends him around. So James Young just gets back out on track and immediately has to go back in a pit lane to get more damage repaired on that 31 car. Bad race gone worse for James Young. So Brian Wiggins has a very fast and fresher tires. Justin Cope right behind him. So we might see a move for the lead from Justin Cope on the outside. If I'm Justin Cope, I'm gonna try to use that outside move that he did on Partridge and DeFore to get around Wiggins, because Wiggins is on the same tires as Partridge and DeFore, so it shouldn't be too difficult of a task to do, especially considering the speed of that 59 car. The pace car pulling into pit lane. Wiggins and Cope leading this field back to the green flag. Green flag is out for another restart as Wiggins waited a little bit to get going, but Cope already firing off to the outside of car number 3. A great run down the back straight here as Cope gonna pull alongside car 3 on exit. A little bit of a scrape on the wall for car number 59. But Cope battling with Wiggins for the lead here. Wiggins can't track out, and a lot of the speed here at South Boston is tracking out towards that wall. Here comes Cope with more grip up top. Big run for car 59. He's going to lead right at the stripe. But dead even through the corners between cars 3 and 59. I think Cope was just ahead as the caution comes out. Not sure who's it for. I think it might be for Chris Norris as he's missing his front bumper. Let's see what happened to bring out the caution here. So currently looking at the 56 of Chris Norris. He's got Dylan Lansdell right behind him. And oh, I think Lansdell tried to get to the outside of Norris, and that sent Norris around. I don't think it was intentional by Lansdell, but it lifted up the back end of Norris and sent that 56 car around. But yes, Justin Cope was ahead at the time of caution. So he's in a very favorable position on fresher tires than the cars behind him. And he has 3 cars on 90 lap old tires behind him to Tony Kurgel. While we're under caution, let's get a Mark Sakoshi update. Started on pole, went to the back trying to work his way through the field, and he's on the freshest tires out of the people in the top 10 with 24 laps on those Goodyears, and he's currently in 7th right now. So I think that if he utilized that outside line, he could probably jump to 2nd pretty quickly, especially with how fast that 8 car has seemed. Not be surprised if that is in the cards for Mark Sakoshi. But pace car about to pull in, and for the first time in a while, it's now Justin Cope leading the field to the green flag with Brian Wiggins right behind him. Green flag is out. Great start by Cope. He launches off perfectly and gets a big jump over Wiggins and the rest of the field. DeFore all over the back end of Partridge coming into turn 3. No one looking to make a pass just yet, except for Mark Sakoshi, who's looking to the outside of Robert Wiggins, but doesn't get the run that he needs. But now he dives it in really deep to that top side, and he's going to get to the outside of Robert Wiggins, exiting 4. So here comes Mark Sakoshi trying to work his way around that 26 car. Nosing ahead down the back straightaway. He should be able to get this move made down the front stretch. But not yet. Wiggins fighting back hard against Mark Sakoshi. And Tony Kurgel got a little bit loose on the inside now. Sakoshi going to his outside. And you can see Adam Gracie looking to follow Sakoshi around the 26 and 13 respectively. Sakoshi able to clear the 13. Gracie gonna try to get up there as well. You see Robert Wiggins looking to follow Gracie around the 13 on the outside here. Kurgel sliding back after this restart. This restart has not gone his way, as Wiggins is going to nose ahead past him into turn 3. Kurgel having to keep that car on that yellow line, and now Dawson Kent peeking to his outside. So Kurgel has gone nowhere but back on the restart. You see Kent got really loose on the outside of Kurgel. Kurgel finally able to have a spot to breathe for a second, but Adam DeFore hungry to get that 3rd spot from Ray Partridge, but Partridge starting to pull away from that 5 car. Further back through the field, back to Kurgel. Crumley looking to make a move on car number 13, but he scrapes along, loses all that momentum. That 13 car doesn't look like it's just handling very well. It looks like it's really on the tight side on entry. And you can see Crumley now peeking to the inside of car number 13 for the 9th spot. So Crumley going to get past Kurgel. Further up ahead in this group of cars, Wiggins was thinking about poking to the inside of Adam Gracie, but Robert Wiggins not able to make it happen. Gracie's still running that pretty unconventional outside line, or not really outside line, but second line here. See everyone running the bottom, or at least like a lane off or half a lane off the bottom. But Gracie is running a full lane off the bottom and not even trying to diamond the corners. But he's making good speed right now. Currently in 6th at the moment. As the field starting to spread out. Wiggins getting to the inside of Gracie on corner entry. But that run that Gracie's getting on exit is just too strong for Robert Wiggins right now. He's going to try to make a dive to the inside of Gracie in 1 and 2, but Gracie able to power by on the outside unscathed. But the real question is, how much of a toll is this putting on that 17 car's right front tire? Because when you're running up top like that, you are turning the car more for a longer period of time, which will wear out that right front quicker. But we see Gracie jumping to the bottom to get around Chris Norris. Further up front, Adam DeFore looking to use one of these lap cars as a pick to hopefully catch up, or not really catch up, but get to the inside of Ray Partridge, who he's pretty much been hounding. Mark Sikoshi has broken into the top 5 and is really starting to catch on to the back end of DeFore and Partridge. Now we're finally getting a decent run going here. And still in the back, Gracie and Wiggins duking it out for the 6th spot. Wiggins is getting further and further to the inside of Gracie in each corner. I think that advantage to the outside line is starting to wear itself out, because here at South Boston, you really do want to be diving it into the corners here and playing it on the bottom. You can make that second line work, but that's really a line to hold people off, or to get around someone if they're going real slow on the bottom. But back to the battle for 5th, as Mark Sikoshi has caught Adam DeFore and Ray Partridge. Sikoshi looking to use that outside line to his advantage. He's got 2 cars battling hard for position right in front of him. Sikoshi probably licking his lips right now at the prospect of this. But he hasn't been able to get to the outside of DeFore just yet. DeFore with a big wiggle. Great save by car number 5. That allows Sikoshi to get to his inside. Contact was almost made between cars 5 and 8. Sikoshi really had to get out of it to not hit him. But Sikoshi trying to get closer and closer to Justin Cope, who is veritably pulling away from the rest of this field. Already out to a 1.1 second gap. Car number 59 is over Brian Wiggins. And Sikoshi's starting to fade back a little bit from DeFore. Gracie's starting to pick up the pace in car number 17 to get back into the top 5. As he was able to hold off Robert Wiggins right behind him. After Wiggins showed time and time again his interest in jumping to that inside line, but Gracie firmly shut the door on him every time. But now Sikoshi really trying to get that run going on the outside to get around DeFore. This might be his opportunity right here as DeFore navigates around Chris Norris. Just got halfway into this race here. And at the halfway point, your leader is Justin Cope. And your top 5 is Justin Cope, Brian Wiggins, Ray Partridge, Adam DeFore, and Mark Sikoshi. And further outside of the top 5 is Adam Gracie in 6th, who, whoa, we see him get really sideways on entry. Might have overdrove entry just a little bit. And then right behind him, Robert Wiggins. And then it's Dawson Kent having a pretty quiet race outside of the early mishap. And then Jason Crumley trying to put the pieces of his race back together after he got in an accident or two. And then Tony Kurgel, who's really been struggling with the handling on this 13 car all race. That's your top 10 at the moment. Something very interesting to note is that Wiggins is really closing in on Justin Cope. I don't know if it's that Justin Cope's having a harder time with lap cars, but Wiggins has closed that gap by about 0.4 of a second to Justin Cope. Let's see the times as they cross the stripe. 15.983 for Justin Cope, 15.944 for Brian Wiggins. So if he keeps up at this pace, soon he'll be all over the back end of that number 59 before we know it. As Justin Cope working around the 45 of Colton English. And then soon the 88 of John Bittler. Brian Wiggins just consistently about 800ths faster than Cope. So very steadily chipping in to that gap. As the battle for 6th starting to flare up once again between Adam Gracie and Robert Wiggins. Wiggins looking to the inside of Gracie. Gracie still running that outside line. But Gracie's having a hard time keeping the wheels on that number 17 car on it. And now Wiggins really putting the pressure on car number 17. As Gracie currently able to hold off car 26, but I think Wiggins really wants to get past Gracie, but it's just really tough here at South Boston. You really got to work someone over if you're equal speed here. And it's hard to do when you can't track out because there's a car on your outside. But Wiggins put on a good show right now in 7th. Still looking to the inside of Gracie every corner. But Gracie right now able to hold off that 26 car. And the gap between first and second, about 0.6 of a second between Cope and Wiggins. And it's closing up pretty quick. Last time by, Wiggins was a full 0.2 faster, but he did get a little sideways in the corner right there. He's going to lose that time that he gained trying to get the car back under him. So maybe the handling on car number 3 is starting to go away. As, I mean, if you think about it, he has a phenomenal long run car at the moment. On 142 lap old tires, he's already put up about 2 seconds on the car behind, which is Ray Partridge in third. Back to the battle for 6th. Wiggins still trying his best to get around Gracie. Big dive for car number 26. And almost contact between the two. Wiggins had to get out of it. Classy move by Robert Wiggins to not hit the quarter panel of Gracie. But coming to 100 laps to go here, Justin Cope is still in the lead, coming up on the back end of Jason Crumley, car number 28. And I think that the field is starting to get spread out to the point where they'll be coming across lap cars every other lap or so. Because 15 cars around here, and they're all super spread out, is a recipe for lap car navigation. But that puts Jason Crumley as the first car 1 lap down. Tony Kurgel in 10th, still struggling with that 13 car. Trying his best to be fast, but going to be an off week for the defending series champion, as he's going to struggle to stay inside the top 10. He's got Cone English breathing down his neck, which, considering how this season has gone for these two drivers, in a sense, you didn't really think you'd hear if you've been following National Sim Racing. Cone English breathing down the neck of defending series champion Tony Kurgel. But it seems like the setup has really missed the mark in car number 13. He's having to really slow that car down a lot to get it turned. That front end does not look like it's very compliant with what the driver is doing. And Cone English looking to the inside of Kurgel. Kurgel trying to go from top to bottom to try and get a drive off, but he can't do it because English is on his inside. And they're both doing that right in front of Mark Sakoshi, who's currently 5th. But Kurgel going to let Sakoshi by. And the interesting about Mark Sakoshi is that that car hasn't stuck to the back end of Partridge and DeFore like I thought it would. Despite being on 70 lap fresher tires, that number 8 car is about 2 seconds behind 2 seconds behind DeFore. And just kind of holding station. Would have thought that it would have been just a smidge faster, especially considering his qualifying pace. But it looks like it has just not been panning out for the driver of that number 8 car. As, whoa, big sideways moment for Brian Wiggins. I think the rear tires on car number 3 finally starting to give out after 155 laps. That was a great save by Wiggins, but it cost him about a second of time to Justin Cope, who's currently trying to dispatch car number 27, Dawson Kent. I don't think that there's any question that these cars should be able to make it on fuel. But I think the next caution that we get, if we get another caution, everyone's definitely going to be taking tires, because at the very least, people are on the person who has the freshest tires is Adam Gracie in 6th place on 80 lap old tires. That's just how long it's been since they last came in to get fresh Goodyear slicks. But Cope, outside of his little incident earlier, has been very solid. Haven't really seen a wrong step out of that 59 car outside of him hitting the brakes just a little bit too hard behind another car. But Cope putting on a clinic at the moment, just over a second ahead of Brian Wiggins. As further in the back, we have a battle for 11th. Tony Kurgel trying to stay in front of Dylan Lansdell. And that 13 car is handling so poorly that a car without a front clip is hounding his back bumper right now. As we saw the 13 get a little bit loose on entry. But Lansdell trying to wrangle some extra points away from Kurgel. He's going to poke his nose to the inside of Kurgel. Kurgel's going to try to fight back. Man, that 13 car just looks lethargic compared to its pace at other tracks. I'd say that Kurgel's doing a good job of keeping himself out of trouble despite his issues with the car. But this is most likely going to be a week to forget. And we have pit stop update information. Adam Gracie jumping into pit lane. So he's the first car of these leaders to jump into pit lane, going 87 laps on his set of tires. So definitely something to look at. As Dawson Kent trying to fight Robert Wiggins for the 6th spot with Ray Partridge in 3rd right behind him. Kent going to look to the outside of Wiggins. Wiggins almost came across the nose of Kent. Cars 26 and 27 battling in front of car 29. But Kent going to get the move made on Wiggins. Partridge going to follow Kent around the outside of that 26 car. So while Partridge may have been slowed up a little bit by this battle, he definitely got through it pretty cleanly, as Robert Wiggins is the second car to jump into pit lane. So now the question is, if you are Brian Wiggins or Justin Cope, when do you come into pit lane? I'm pretty sure at some point soon Brian Wiggins has to jump into a pit lane. But he's been running equal times with Justin Cope, has been managing traffic very well. He's only about half a second behind the leader right now, and he just gained another 10th on entry in 1 and 2. So this 3 car very fast right now, and I think the pace on car number 59 starting to falter at the end of this very long run. Wiggins looking all over the back bumper of Cope for a place to go. Cope has to navigate Tony Kurgel right in front of him. Wiggins did not get a good exit. Lost about a 10th to Cope right there. He had to get out of the gas, and that killed his momentum down the back straightaway. But Wiggins is really laying the pressure thick on Justin Cope, really making Justin Cope work for this lead as he makes a big dive to the inside. Contact made, side-by-side contact between Wiggins and Cope, and a little bit of a door bang from Cope to Wiggins. Wiggins almost lost it down the front straightaway, but Cope able to hang on to his position. Dylan Lansdell in the back, getting around Jason Crumley for the 8th spot. But Wiggins gonna be trying to regain that lost time now, as I think Wiggins is smelling blood in the water. He knows that he can catch up to that number 59, but catching up to someone and getting past them are 2 completely separate exercises, as Cope having to work his way around the 4 of Elijah Grant. Wiggins able to get past him with a little bit more ease. But 73 laps to go here at South Boston. The real question is, when does Wiggins have to pit, if he does have to pit? Because it's been 180 laps since the last time he was in pit lane. As we see, I believe that's Crumley going into pit lane. Yeah, so Crumley's into pit lane. And these leaders, they are really sticking it out for the long run here. I would have thought that the rear tires on these cars would have gone a lot sooner, but it seems like they're doing an excellent job of keeping the tires on it with 70 laps to go. Wiggins inching closer and closer to the back end of Justin Cope, way sideways on entry, and man, you gotta wonder if Brian Wiggins is kind of driving on a knife's edge here, because that car does look very sketchy on the brakes, and those rear tires are struggling to grip up to the track. Going further back through the field, back to Dylan Lansdell, who has quietly been carving his way through the field. He's currently the third car one lap down, catching up to the back end of Colton English. And without a front end, he's doing a fairly good job trying to get 7th from that 45 car as he overdrove the exit. Yeah, but this is the super long run that I predicted earlier. Once the field really starts to get spread out and people understand how this car reacts on a long run, that's when the real long green flag runs start to form. But everyone up to 5th is currently a lap down. Last car on the lead lap is car number 8, your pole sitter, Mark Sakoshi, currently 9 seconds behind the leader right now, so about half a track behind Justin Cope. But Wiggins working back that gap to Justin Cope, half a second behind car number 59 once again. And Cope's going to have to deal with Adam Gracie ahead of him. We know Gracie's a pretty fast car, and to make matters worse, Gracie's gonna try to do battle with Lansdell. He's gonna get past Lansdell, and Cope gonna try his best to follow through, but he had to sacrifice the exit a little bit so that he didn't slide up into that 24 car. Whoa, Elijah Grant pretty slow up top. Think Cope had to get out of it just a little bit, and Wiggins able to navigate traffic a lot better than Cope, and he's cut that gap down to 0.4 of a second for the lead here. Coming to 59 laps to go. Wiggins trying to get back to the inside of Cope once again. Cope having to work around Colton English in front of him. Now, Colton English currently running 8th. He's having a pretty good run for himself, all things considered. And he's not really pulling that far away from the 59. Keeping about equal pace. So this could potentially be a really bad situation for Justin Cope if Colton English doesn't get out of the way, but he gets out of the way without much trouble. But Wiggins still about half a second behind Cope. And you got to think that for Wiggins, the clock is ticking for him, because sure, there's 55 laps to go. That is quite a lot of laps, but when each lap is going by at about once every 16 seconds, if you take your time and try to, you know, methodically set something up on this car, on the car in front, you're not really giving yourself a lot of time to methodically execute it. So I think if I was Wiggins, I would really be trying to push this 3 car to get around that 59 ASAP. But we've seen what happens when this 3 car pushes on entry. That car just breaks loose and he loses a second and has to spend it making it back up. But Justin Cope behind Chris Norris, allowing Wiggins to creep in ever closer, as Wiggins once again has a much easier time getting around lap traffic. Wiggins all over the back bumper of car number 59. Coming to 50 laps to go here at South Boston. Wiggins inching closer to the back end of Cope. Cope goes high. Wiggins to the inside, side by side for the lead down the back straightaway. Wiggins still there to the inside of Cope. Wiggins trying to plant that car on the inside. Cope trying to get the run off the top. Dead even down the front straightaway here. Give the advantage to Wiggins. Wiggins going to try to use the shortest way around the track to get clear of Cope, and he's going to get almost clear. Not yet. Cope going to try a big dive on the outside. Not going to be able to make it work. So Wiggins is going to take the lead back from Justin Cope with 48 laps to go here at South Boston Speedway. And now if I'm Justin Cope, I have to put as much pressure as possible on the back of Brian Wiggins to try and get him to make a mistake. Try and heat up those right rears for Wiggins, but Wiggins is starting to pull away from that 59 car, despite it being 200 laps since despite it being actually that 3 car hasn't pit yet at all. So maybe all the cautions that came out allowed him to save a little bit of fuel. I was not thinking that these cars could make it all the way, but 3 cars who have not pit yet, Wiggins, Partridge, and DeFore, all of them inside the top 5, and showing that tires aren't everything here at South Boston. And yeah, Cope is really starting to slide back from Wiggins. .44 laps to go. Wiggins able to navigate past Dawson Kent. We see a little bit of a bobble from car number 3. That's the risk that you run, running so long on these tires. So the question is, can the rear tires on car number 3 hold out for 40 more laps to bring him to victory? Because right now he is the car to beat. That 3 car is bad fast. Right now the field really spread out right now. Each driver about 1.5 seconds or more separated from each other. So let's get a quick drive or quick spectate through the field. So Brian Wiggins leading the race right now. Justin Cope about 1.5 seconds behind in second. Ray Partridge in third, having a pretty quiet race for himself. And then Adam DeFore in fourth. Mark Sakoshi is back in fifth, the last car on the lead lap, 12 seconds behind the leader. And probably the person praying for a caution the most right now is Adam Gracie in car number 17. First car 1 lap down in sixth, and he's the only car 1 lap down. And it's Dawson Kent. And the caution does come out.
Stop the count.
Don't know who's it for. Oh, it's for Elijah Grant. That car is sideways on the front straightaway, and this race has been turned on its head with 37 laps to go here. Let's get a replay to see what happened to car number 4, because that broke up a very, very long green flag run here at South Boston. Currently looking at Elijah Grant through turns 3 and 4, and it looks like he just carried too much speed, got on the gas too quickly, and that car spins out and noses the inside wall. But everyone going into pit lane, it's going to be Wiggins winning off of pit road with Justin Cope right behind him. But we've seen how fast this 59 car is on the short runs. This is exactly what Cope needed. Wiggins is going to have a really hard time trying to keep that 59 behind him. I think Brian Wiggins, if there's anyone in this field who could probably do that, judging by their performance so far, is probably Brian Wiggins. But that 59 is bad fast on the short runs, and it's only on the long runs when that car starts to fade in performance. And 35 laps is a pretty quick run, and that's right in the fastest laps that Justin Cope is setting during these short runs. Also extends a lifeline to Ray Partridge and Adam DeFore and Mark Sakoshi, because that groups the field up quite nicely for all of them. But the pace car just about to pull into pit lane for this pivotal restart here, with Wiggins leading the field. Back to the restart with 34 to 33 laps to go. Justin Cope with a little bit of wheel spin on the start. He's going to try to gain all that time back that he lost on the start. And he's going to make a big dive to the outside of Wiggins. Not going to be able to make it happen, but he's got such a huge run out of the corner. He's all over the back end of that 3 car. To the outside goes Justin Cope for the lead. He's there down the back straightaway. Wiggins has to give him the room, but Wiggins going to try to clear him on exit. He's barely clear, and the caution is out. Let's see who's it for. Robert Wiggins around in turn number 2. Ooh. Elijah Grant coming in a little late, getting into car number 26. Let's see what brought that out. Looking at Robert Wiggins, and it looks like, yeah, it looks like he, on those cold tires, just got sideways. And the caution's already out. I'm quite confused on how Elijah Grant brought himself into that accident, but it happened. But this is exactly what Brian Wiggins wants to see. The ideal run for Wiggins would probably be just a bunch of cautions after each other so he can retain the lead and keep that 59 car behind him. Because Cope was really looking strong on the outside of Wiggins. Less than 30 laps to go here at South Boston. And we will be going green flag racing once again, this time by. We'll be going back green with 27 laps to go, and it's going to be Brian Wiggins trying to hold off Justin Cope and the rest of this field to the green, or to the checkered flag. Hopefully this will go green to the end. With how hard these cars are going to be racing, I think that we'll have a couple more cautions up the sleeve. But base car is in. It's up to Brian Wiggins to get a good start. Good start for Wiggins. Green flag is out. And he's going to go to the inside as Cope going to jump to his outside. Cope going to have a huge run on the outside of Wiggins. Wiggins going to dive it in on the inside. Going to try to get as much as he can to keep alongside that number 59 car. But a huge run on the outside for Justin Cope. Cope to the lead of the race here with 26 laps to go. Wiggins is going to try everything that he's got to try to get back to the inside of the 59 car. Cope scrapes the ball down the back straightaway. That lowers his momentum a little bit, but he's able to stay ahead of Wiggins as the caution comes out once again. And I believe, oh no, it's for Ray Partridge, car 29. He's missing his front end. Oh, that's heartbreaking. He's been having such a good race for so long, and he has lost the front bumper on that number 29 car. Let's see what happened. Looking at Partridge coming into turn 3. Just entered in too hard, and that car just slid around on him. Oh, Lansdell scrapes him, and then Colin English hits him as well. So that's why car 29 got a little bit of a facelift. He actually didn't hit anything, it's just that other people hit him. But Justin Cope in the best spot possible right now. A fast short run car and leading this race with 23 laps to go here. Base cars are gonna be turning off here, and it's gonna be Justin Cope leading the field to the green flag. With 21 laps to go once we cross the stripe. What will Brian Wiggins do in response to Justin Cope? Pace car is in, getting ready for another restart here at South Boston. Green flag is out. 21 laps to go here for Justin Cope to try to hold on to the lead. Oh, he got off to a great start over Wiggins. That gap about 0.7 of a second right now. Sakoshi to the inside of Partridge for 4th. Partridge going to try to hold on to whatever spots he can. Going to be tough with that missing front end, but it's definitely possible for Partridge to keep a good finishing position in that number 29 car. So Sakoshi up to 4th. Got about 8.8 to make up to the back end of DeFore if he wants to get into the top 3. DeFore sideways on corner exit. So he's going to lose time to Wiggins. I tell you what, that 3 car of Brian Wiggins is hustling as hard as he can right now. Wiggins set the fastest lap of the race last time by with a 15.329. He is really eating into that lead that Cope has. But he's really overdriving the car here, as we saw him have to chase the car up the track. That just cost him about 0.4 on Cope. And I think he's going to need a caution to get another re-rack at this. I don't think that he's going to be able to catch up 1 second in 16 laps, especially when everyone's on pretty fresh tires. Further in the back, we have a battle for 9th between Jason Crumley and Tony Kurgel. Crumley going to dive to the inside with a crossover on Kurgel. Kurgel's going to give Crumley more than enough room and then move Crumley into the 9th spot. Battle for 4th going on right now between Mark Sakoshi and Adam DeFore. DeFore trying to hold off Sakoshi on that outside line, and he's going to get it to work. Sakoshi had to back off to not drive into the quarter panel of car number 5, and then he shoots up the track a little bit. So DeFore has a little bit of breathing room to work with, at least for a couple laps, until Sakoshi hounds down that 5 car once again. Sakoshi getting really high up on the track here. I think he might have overdriven the corner because he got really loose in the center and lost about a second to DeFore right in front of him. But Justin Cope showing off his short run speed here. Coming to 10 laps to go for car number 59. 2 high fives up in the air from the flagman. And all that Cope wants to see is that white flag soon. and he is really ripping that 59 car around this track. Wiggins closing in on him by about half a tenth per lap, but he's not going to have enough time if this goes green to the end. The last thing Cope wants is a caution to come out with barely any time left, because that would open him up to a potential bump and run from the cars behind. Seven to go as Mark Sikoshi closing back up to the back bumper of Adam DeFore. DeFore getting really squirrely on corner exit here. And Sikoshi able to steadily claw the time that he lost from sliding up the track earlier back, but he only has 6 laps to do it. If he's gonna make a move on DeFore, he's gonna have to do it pretty quickly, because time is running out here at South Boston with how fast that number 59 car is going. Four laps to go for Justin Cope to try and hold off Brian Wiggins. He's got about 7/10 of a second to make up on that number 3 car. 3 to go here for Justin Cope. You can see Wiggins just at the top of the shot, trying his hardest, throwing everything at the wall. And Justin Cope is really praying for the white flag to come out and not the caution. Cope driving a beautiful line, keeping it very nice and tidy to the yellow line, coming to 1 lap to go. This race will end in regulation. No green white checkers needed as Justin Cope takes the white flag, using the apron to help that 59 car turn just a little bit. He just needs one more good set of corners here, and Justin Cope will go from the front to the back, back to the front after a hard-fought battle with Brian Wiggins to take the win in the Virginia 500 here at South Boston. Great race, great huge run through the middle that allowed for some great racing to happen. And man, that was one heck of a win and one heck of a battle for the win between Cope and Wiggins. Wiggins going to give Cope a congratulatory little rub. Or maybe a little bit more than that. Wiggins not, maybe a little bit of an accident trying to give him a rub, but either way, let's get to your finishing results here at South Boston. Coming home with the win, it's Justin Cope, and right behind him, by about a second, is Brian Wiggins. Led a lot of this race and was unfortunately got caught out by a bad caution. And rounding out your podium with a pretty quiet race of his own, holding off Mark Sikoshi, it is Adam DeFore in P3, car number 5. Mark Sikoshi started on pole, went to the back due to an early penalty, and then comes home in 4th. Good run for car number 8. Ray Partridge was a top 3 car all race and then got in a late accident. Relegates him to 5th, but a top 5 is something that you can't really complain about. Adam Gracie said that he had the pace to win, that this was actually his best shot to win it, and unfortunately, a 6th place is the most he will get out of car number 17. Good run for Adam Gracie, just outside of the top 5. Colin English with another good run, coming home in 7th for car number 45. Dawson Kent in 8th, and Jason Crumley, a top 10 for him. Tony Kershaw, a disappointing run for him by his standards, rounding out your top 10 in car number 13. First car outside of the top 10, it's Robert Wiggins in car number 26, and behind him is Dylan Lansdell in car 24. John Bittler in 13th, then followed by Chris Norris, the last car to finish this race. And then Elijah Grant actually got disqualified, coming home in 15th. And then rounding out your field is James Young, 16th out of 16 cars. Don't go anywhere. We still have driver interviews for the top 3 in just one moment. Please stand by. All right, we welcome you back to the Virginia 500 here at South Boston Speedway and getting driver interviews just underway. And let's start with your race winner, Justin Cope, in car number 59.
Come on.
Justin Cope coming home in the first position after 250 laps of hard-fought short track racing. How you feeling, man?
Man, I am hot, sweaty, and glad that's over with.
So I tell you what, this was really a tale of two cars. It seemed like the entire race, it was just you versus Brian Wiggins. And how thankful were you for that late race caution with about 30 laps to go? Because Wiggins got past you, and then he seemed to just be gapping you. And then it seems like from the heavens, a caution came down, and you had a great short run car, and it seemed to work out perfectly in your favor.
Yeah, I mean, hats off to Wiggins. He had one fast car on the long run, that is for sure. I mean, he stayed out that whole time and never took tires till that caution there at the end, and that's definitely something to be said for that. I do think I had him on fuel though. From what me and him was chit chatting just now, I think he was going to have to pit for gas, so I would have been saved by that. But but man, he stayed on me the whole time, and it was so hard trying to stay out in front of him. And,
But I mean, either way, you did a great job at holding him off. All things said and done, and I want to go back to very early on in the race. We saw that the leaders were getting black flag penalties and had to serve them. What exactly were those for? Because here in the broadcast booth, we can't see what a black flag is assessed for until the race is over, and I'm looking at the results page. So was it passing the pace car? Was it passing before the start finish line? Because it seemed like the leaders were getting that pretty often.
yeah, the way they got it set up, you can't pass the leader on the start when we're double file. Well, apparently, when I was on the outside there, apparently my nose was in front of Sakosi's nose, and it gave me a black flag. I had to do a drive through, and to be honest, man, I was like, I was expecting to go laps down, but Wiggins was kind enough to let me in, so I get down there and to make my pit stop or to make my penalty. But coming back through the field, man, it's just that is so hard, and because everybody's racing, it's so important track position here, and everybody's racing so tight. It's so easy to slip up here, and I finally made it back up front, and I did not want to pit and go to the back again. I'll tell you that. So all those restarts after that, I made sure I was in that box before I went, because I think Sikosi ended up getting black flagged the next restart. I'm pretty sure.
Yes, he did. So it was very surprising to see both front row cars getting a black flag for what looked like almost no reason, but I'm glad that you've shined some light on it. So, but before we let you go and celebrate this win just a little bit more, because we are going to, let me see the schedule. We're going to Chicagoland next week. Do you have any people or sponsors you want to thank before we let you go?
Man, I just think all the guys that are in the league showing up every week. I mean, that's really what makes it special. Just everybody setting aside a time to come out here and race, and if you can keep the momentum going and the guys keep showing up, it is such a blast. And appreciate you for the broadcast, man. You do a great job, and I just shout out to my teammate and my family watching at home, and that's about it, man.
All right. Well, Justin Cope with a great win after 250 laps here at South Boston. We know you're good at the short tracks. We look forward to seeing what you can do next week at Chicagoland.
All right, man. I'll see you then.
All right. And then coming home in second, it is Brian Wiggins in car number 3. Let's get him into the booth. Coming home in second, another very strong run for car number 3. It's Brian Wiggins coming home in second. How you feeling, man?
I'm tired, man. I'm fatigued. I'm sweaty. My arms are sore. That's a hell of a race, though.
And I was absolutely surprised to see you stay out for that long. I thought personally, I didn't have an idea of what the fuel window was, so I estimated that it would be about 150 to 180 laps. Uh, just judging off of personal experience at short tracks with cars roughly this type. Uh, but you were able to stretch it out to well over 200. So how long was that fuel window for you? Because I was just talking to Justin Cope, and he said that towards the end of that, you're actually going to run out if you didn't get a caution.
Yeah, I was. I had like 3 or 4 laps left in the tank, man, when that caution came out. So that caution really saved my butt.
Yeah, that caution saved your butt, but at the same time, it was a double-edged sword because you were absolutely flying on the long runs. What do you think made the difference between you and Justin? Because it seemed like Justin was an absolute rocket ship on the short runs, and then you had an extremely stable car all throughout. And unfortunately, the caution just came out at such a late point that it kind of got used against you.
Yeah, I mean, it's something you can't control, man, where the cautions fly and when they come out. But, I got to hand it to Cope. He made a hell of a move on the outside to get by me. And that was it. I couldn't ever get back to his bumper. I guess I could have put him in the wall there when he was on the outside of me, but I don't like to win like that. So got to give him all his due credit. That was a hell of a move he made.
I'll tell you what, you two put on one heck of a race, and you've been on fire these past couple of weeks. So before we let you go and ride this good momentum into Chicagoland next week, do you have any people or sponsors you want to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, we got to thank IRD Racing. If you ever need anything with your fuel injection or carburetors, make sure to hit up John. He knows what he's doing with that. Got to thank Garrett Hess in the booth. Mark for all the admin stuff that he does. All my teammates. My little baby brother Robert. I know you had a tough race tonight, but he's getting it together as well. All the scumbags. My beautiful wife Jenny. And yeah, that's it, man.
Well, that is Brian Wiggins with another strong run to add on to what's already been a pretty strong season for you thus far. We look forward to seeing what you can do next week when we head to Chicagoland.
Can't wait for it, man. See you next week.
All right, and then rounding out your interviewees, it's going to be the 5 of Adam DeFore coming home in third. Let's get him into the booth. Coming home in third, it's Adam DeFore in car number 5, and what was pretty ostensibly a very quiet race for you. We focused a lot of the race on the battle between Cope and Wiggins, but you're pretty fast, all things considered. So I want to know how you're feeling.
Oh, feeling pretty good about it. Should be pretty close in the points now. I know I was only 6 behind Tony, and he finished 10th, and Mark finished behind me. So I don't know. We may have like a 3 or 4-way tie now.
Yeah, but for a good chunk of that race, you were battling pretty hard with Ray Partridge, and I want to know how that was, because that was mostly secluded from the eye of the broadcast, because because cars 3 and 59 were just throwing elbows trying to get past each other. But it seems like you two were on pretty similar speed too. So kind of just walk us through how your battles with him went, because we unfortunately didn't get to catch a lot of it.
I mean, they went pretty good. I got loose. About lap 70 maybe, and he ended up getting past me, and then I just rode behind him for 100 and something laps, and then he got loose, and I almost ran into him. But yeah, I mean, it was pretty good, man. It's just hard, clean racing, really.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm looking at your car right now. I don't see really a scratch on it, which is pretty surprising considering this is South Boston, and typically no one leaves without a few banged up panels on their car. But like you said, a great points day for you to bring you even closer into contention. with the other drivers. So before we let you go and ride this good momentum into Chicagoland next week, which I have a pretty good feeling you'll do pretty well at, do you have any people or sponsors you want to thank before we let you go?
Yeah. Shout out to Mark for putting the races on and just the whole league in general. And shout out to Brian Wiggins. He put out a good setup for this race. And shout out to my wife for putting up with me doing this every Saturday night.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to seeing what you can do next week at Chicagoland. That's Adam DeFore coming home a very strong third place finish to build even more good momentum on top of a pretty good season he's been having thus far. Looking forward to seeing you next week, man.
All right, man. You too.
All right, and with all that said and done, let me get this graphic off your screen. Let me change the camera real quick, and we can finally wrap up the broadcast. Thank you for tuning in to the National Sim Racing Virginia 500 here at South Boston Speedway. We hope you enjoyed the broadcast, and I hope that my new microphone was not too much of a difference from my usual one. I had to get a new headset today, and I got a brand I wasn't familiar with, and I did some testing, and I hope that it wasn't too bad or too much of a noticeable difference. Big thank you to our sponsor, IRD Racing, the king of carburetors, for sponsoring this series and allowing this broadcast to happen. Great group of people over there. If you want to take your racing program to the next level, go to IRDRacing.com. There's a reason why people call them the king of carburetors. Big thanks to Andrew Schulte and SKS Graphics for their tickers and ticker help. Wouldn't be possible without them. And speaking of wouldn't be possible, this broadcast wouldn't be possible without the support of viewers like you. Thank you for watching Fireball Talks NASCAR. Thank you for watching this broadcast. My name is Garrett Hess. I'll be seeing you next Saturday night at Chicagoland for the National Sim Racing Gen 4 Cup Series presented by IRD Racing. We're going from 0.4 miles to 1.5 mile multi-groove racing at Chicagoland. Looking forward to seeing you guys there. Once again, my name is Garrett Hess. You're watching Fireball Talks NASCAR, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Y'all take it easy.